Most people believe luxury brands are built for the ultra-rich. But last year, Louis Vuitton sold over $15 billion in goods, driven not by billionaires, but by middle-income buyers snapping up accessible wallets and belts. If luxury is for the elite, why do nearly a quarter of regular Americans own it? The answer reveals a strategy so targeted, it is reshaping how desire and debt are manufactured. So, who is luxury really for? Louis Vuitton's annual revenue now stands above $15 billion, making it one of the most profitable names in global retail. But the real surprise is not just the total, it is where that money comes from. Public filings and industry reports show that 60 to 80% of Louis Vuitton's sales are not high jewelry or rare couture, but entry-level accessories: canvas bags, wallets, belts, and small leather goods. The Speedy 30, a $1,500 canvas bag, and wallets priced around $500 move in volumes that far outpace the rarest showpieces. The same pattern holds for Gucci, Chanel, and Dior, where small bags and accessories drive the bulk of transactions. These products are designed to be just within reach for middle-income buyers, offering a taste of luxury without the six-figure price tag. In 2023, LVMH, Louis Vuitton's parent company, reported double-digit growth in its fashion and leather goods division, fueled by these accessible items. The numbers reveal a simple truth. The luxury market's foundation rests not on the ultra-rich, but on millions of everyday consumers reaching for something that feels just out of reach. Inside every luxury boutique, there is a hidden ladder. It starts with the easiest rung to reach: a wallet for $500, a belt for $700, a canvas bag for $1,500. These are not mistakes or leftovers from the main event. They are the on-ramp, engineered for buyers who want in on the story but cannot spend like a billionaire. A former merchandiser describes it as feeding the dream, one step at a time. The logic is simple. Get someone through the door with an attainable piece, and they start to see themselves as part of the brand. Investors call this the ladder effect. The first purchase is not just a transaction. It is an invitation to climb. LVMH's own strategy documents use the phrase defend desirability, making clear that the goal is to keep entry points just within reach, but never too easy. The entire system depends on volume from these accessible products, with each buyer nudged to imagine what comes next. It is not about the ultra-rare runway piece in the window. It is about onboarding millions of new customers who are willing to stretch just enough for that first taste of luxury. Scarcity is the oldest trick in the luxury playbook, but in today's market, it is less about what cannot be made and more about what brands choose not to sell. Take Rolex. Walk into an authorized dealer and ask for a submariner, and the answer is almost always the same. There is a wait list. Months, sometimes years, but the watches exist. Rolex produces over 1 million timepieces a year, according to industry estimates. The real bottleneck is not production, it is allocation. Dealer forums and consumer reports suggest that the most sought-after models rarely go to first-time buyers. Instead, they are reserved for VIP clients, those with long purchase histories or deep pockets. There are no official spreadsheets or leaked memos, but the pattern holds. The illusion of endless demand is maintained by holding back supply, not by running out. Burberry took scarcity to another level in 2018, when it made headlines for destroying £28 million worth of unsold goods in a single year. Rather than discount or donate surplus, the company burned inventory to avoid diluting the brand's prestige. Burberry's move was not an isolated incident. It set off a wave of similar practices across the industry. Chanel, for example, has been rumored to pull back certain bags from stores just as demand peaks, making them even harder to find. These tactics are not about managing waste. They are about controlling the optics of rarity. When people believe that a product is hard to get, desire intensifies. The waitlist becomes a badge of honor. The limited drop becomes a social event. This is not accidental. Luxury brands have learned that manufactured scarcity is more effective than any advertising campaign. It creates stories of the friend who finally got the call, of the Instagram post showing a rare bag in the wild. The product itself becomes a trophy, not just for its price, but for the effort it took to secure it. In a world where supply chains can deliver millions of units a year, the deliberate choice to hold back, destroy, or tightly control access is what keeps the dream alive. The first step in building desire is not making a great product. It is making sure not everyone can have it. A single photo can launch 1,000 wallets. When Jennifer Lawrence was spotted with the Lady Dior bag, Dior's sales team noticed something immediate: a 20% surge in online searches for the bag within days. The connection is not accidental. Luxury brands have turned celebrity sightings and influencer posts into a science, using visibility as validation. An influencer marketing insider describes how Dior's 2022 campaign handed out Rose Devant jewelry to dozens of micro-influencers, each given a brief to post organically. The result? Google search interest jumped by nearly 1/3, and sell-through rates spiked for the featured pieces. For Louis Vuitton, the playbook runs even deeper. Capsule collections, like the Supreme collaboration, are seeded to celebrities, stylists, and high-profile influencers under strict contracts. Some get gifts, others receive payment, but the goal is always the same: make the product appear everywhere, all at once. Agency insiders say about 70% of influencer placements are gifted, not paid, a tactic designed to keep posts looking authentic. The timing is carefully orchestrated. Red carpet events, fashion weeks, and even paparazzi ambushes are mapped out in advance, so the right bag ends up on the right arm at the perfect moment. The effect is measurable. After Harry Styles wore a Gucci bag to a concert, resale prices for the same model jumped by 20% on StockX. When the Kardashians are photographed in a new colorway, it sells out in hours. But the real magic happens at the street level. A spike in online attention translates into more people stepping into boutiques, hoping to get their hands on the item before it disappears. Social proof is not just about celebrity, it is about making the brand feel inescapable, a must-have for anyone chasing relevance. Influencer insiders admit that the line between gift and paid placement is intentionally blurred. Contracts often specify when posts must go live, how products should be styled, and which hashtags to use. Brands track the resulting foot traffic and sales in real time. The machinery is relentless, but it works. When everyone seems to have it, the urge to join in becomes hard to resist. The product is no longer just a bag or a bracelet, it is a ticket to belonging, validated by the sheer volume of people showing it off. Step through the doors of a luxury boutique, and the first thing you notice isn't always the merchandise, it's the feeling. A retail architect describes how every detail, from the marble floors to the scent in the air, is calibrated for effect. At Gucci's Via Monte Napoleone flagship, a glass case displays a crocodile trunk priced at $100,000, just a few steps from a $1,500 wallet. This isn't about showing off inventory. It is price anchoring, a tactic designed to make the wallet seem almost reasonable by comparison. The same logic plays out at Louis Vuitton and Chanel, where ultra-rare couture pieces are placed at the front or in spotlighted alcoves, reframing the cost of entry-level goods. Psychologists call this the contrast principle. A $700 belt feels accessible when you have just walked past a six-figure showpiece. But the environment goes deeper than numbers. A neuroscientist explains how scent and lighting work hand in hand to activate the brain's reward pathways. Chanel boutiques diffuse a signature fragrance throughout the space, a blend designed to evoke both nostalgia and aspiration. Academic studies in retail show that adding a pleasant, brand-congruent scent to a store can measurably increase the time shoppers spend browsing and their willingness to buy, even if they cannot pinpoint why the place feels so inviting. Lighting is tuned to a warm, enveloping glow around 3000 Kelvin in many flagships, heightening the tactile appeal of leather and gold. In field experiments, these sensory cues have produced double-digit increases in both dwell time and sales in some retail settings. Retail architects use digital simulations and biometric feedback to test every detail before a store opens. They track how long visitors linger near anchor displays, how their gaze moves from high to mid-tier products, and which scents or textures keep people in the space. The goal is to create a journey that feels effortless, but is, in fact, tightly choreographed. Even the way staff greet you, sometimes offering a story about a heritage piece before showing you an entry-level item, reinforces the sense of status and belonging. The result is an environment where desire is engineered, not left to chance. Most shoppers walk in for a taste of luxury and leave with something that fits their budget, never realizing how much of the decision was shaped before they even saw the price tag. A single purchase can linger far beyond the boutique. For many buyers, the price of entry is not just a number on a tag, it is a monthly deduction, a balance carried forward. Installment plans and buy now, pay later services have become routine at luxury counters and online checkouts. In the United States, nearly half of all buy now, pay later transactions are for fashion, accessories, and beauty, categories where luxury brands concentrate their most accessible products. Younger and middle-income buyers, drawn by the promise of status, often stretch payments across weeks or months. The pitch is simple: 4 easy payments. 0 interest, unless you miss one. Then the fees begin, and the effective cost can climb above 20% annual percentage rate, rivaling high-interest credit cards. For some, the promotional window closes, and the real cost of that $1,800 bag becomes clear only after the first missed payment. A buyer named Maya describes how she financed a designer wallet she saw trending on Instagram. The influencer's post made it feel urgent, almost necessary. Maya split the $650 purchase into 6 payments, thinking it would be manageable. But an unexpected expense led to a missed installment, triggering late fees. By the time she paid it off, the wallet had cost her over $800. The sense of accomplishment faded, replaced by stress each time a payment reminder arrived. Maya is not alone. Surveys show that about 1 in 5 buy now, pay later. Users struggle to keep up with payments, and many turn to other forms of credit to cover the gap. Debt counselors see these patterns up close. One explains that luxury purchases are rarely about utility. They are about identity. Clients often justify the expense by calling it an investment. The logic goes like this: a Chanel bag or Rolex watch will hold its value, maybe even appreciate. But resale data tells a more complicated story. The Chanel Classic Flap, once hailed as a sure bet, appreciated around 8 to 10% per year from 2015 to 2022, only to fall by 15% in 2024 as trends shifted and prices outpaced demand. The Louis Vuitton Speedy 30, a staple entry-level bag, averaged 4 to 6% annual returns, barely ahead of inflation, and far behind the S&P 500. Most limited edition bags and seasonal colors drop in value the moment they leave the store. A resale analyst breaks it down. Only a handful of models, like the Rolex Submariner or certain Hermes bags, consistently match or beat the stock market. The majority of entry-level luxury goods lose value over time, especially after factoring in wear, fees, and the flood of similar items on resale platforms. The idea of the investment bag is more myth than reality for most buyers. Platforms like StockX and The RealReal track these trends in real time, showing sharp spikes after celebrity endorsements, followed by gradual declines as hype fades. The consequences stretch beyond finances. For some, the burden of debt and the letdown of resale reality lead to regret and anxiety. Debt counselors urge clients to pause before financing a luxury purchase, to question whether the status boost is worth the long-term cost. The system is designed to make the first step feel easy, but the climb can be steep. Understanding the real numbers and the emotional toll can be the first step toward making choices that serve, rather than sabotage, financial well-being. A new generation of small brands and independent makers is rewriting the luxury playbook, this time with transparency at the center. Instead of hinting at scarcity, they publish the numbers. One direct-to-consumer leather goods company lists every batch on its website, each wallet or bag hand-numbered and tracked. After switching to this model, the brand saw conversion rates rise by more than 20%. Buyers were not just told a story, they could see proof. Transparency does not mean abandoning the tools of desire. It means using them honestly. Micro-influencers, for example, have become trusted voices for niche brands. When a small jewelry startup sent out limited edition pieces to a handful of local creators, the campaign skipped staged glamour shots in favor of personal stories. The result was a surge in engagement and a spike in orders, but without the manufactured urgency or hidden contracts that define big brand influencer drops. Consumer advocates see a path forward in these models. One recommends a simple checklist before any luxury purchase. Is the scarcity real or just suggested? Can you find resale data on the item, or is the investment pitch just a myth? Does the purchase fit your budget, or are you stretching to keep up with an image? These questions, she says, do not kill the magic. They keep it honest. Ethical adaptations go beyond limited runs and influencer trust. Some indie brands use price anchoring by offering a single high-end showpiece, often custom-made, alongside their main line. When a $2,000 one-off bag sits next to a $200 wallet, the wallet feels attainable, but buyers know exactly how each piece was made and why it costs what it does. In A/B tests, this approach has lifted conversion rates by 20% or more, proving that clarity can drive desire just as effectively as mystique. For entrepreneurs, the lesson is clear. You do not need to mimic every trick from the luxury giants to build demand. Real scarcity, honest storytelling, and visible value can create the same sense of exclusivity without leaving buyers in the dark. For consumers, the power lies in asking the right questions, checking the data, and remembering that luxury should serve you, not the other way around. Today, luxury brands shape aspiration for millions, not by crafting for the elite, but by engineering desire everywhere else. As middle-income buyers drive billions in sales, the line between want and need blurs in every boutique and social feed. The real luxury is influence, sold one dream at a time. Whose dream are you really buying? Share your thoughts below.